going live at one point. I don't know what that was about, but evidently I had stopped going live. That was not intentional. I don't know what happened there. No idea. Truly no idea what happened there. Give me 1 second. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I'm happy I saw at least there's that. Um, so what I was talking about before was determining for the main scene that we have here. There it is. For the main scene that we have here, of all the letters, should we add sounds to each of these letters, as we will ultimately need to do anyway, or should we focus on the main mechanic of the game? That is the question. I think as of right now, what I'll do is, as of right now, I'll focus on the Flappy Bird mechanic, and go from there. So, in this main scene, we have that. It doesn't look particularly great, but what makes Flappy Bird engaging is like the pressure of trying to keep up with this while going throughout the space. And the gravity should probably be a bit higher. The player also starts off in the air for Flappy Bird. So let's, oh, actually I have that going. So, yeah, okay. So that works as it should. The thing now, I guess, would be to add, to try to see if this could be fun. And how we can check to see if that will be fun is basically setting up a basic prototype of a level before I implement any procedural generation. And I will explain that in a little bit, but for now, what I'll do, I should, but one thing at a time. The first thing I'm going to do is exactly what I said, which is get this stuff to work. So what I'm going to do, for simplicity's sake, because we're just going to see if the game is fun, is I'm going to hold control and press D. That duplicates the ground here. Well, why would you want to duplicate the ground? Give us a second. Calm the fuck down. You're going to see in a second. We're going to press R so we can, oh, not R. We're going to press, what button is this? E. E for rotate is stupid. Let's be real. But anyway, we're going to press E. And then I'm going to press Control and then drag to kind of even it out. Then I'm going to press W to go over here. And then I'm going to do the same thing, Control D, bring it over here. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. First, we need to make it sure it's an appropriate, wait, where's ground 3? Let's delete ground 3. We just need ground 2. And then we're going to change this name from ground 2 to, that. Oh, I also now realize there's no music. So let's get some music in there. Let's get some music in there. I have a playlist specifically for streaming. This playlist is brought to you by the game Heartbound by Pirate Software and team. And yeah, they opened up the OST for public use for the sake of streamers. So that's very nice. And honestly, the soundtrack is an absolute banger. So I have no problem playing it over and over again. And I'm grateful that they allow us to play around with that. So, anyway, so I have the ground here. What am I going to do with the ground? Well, first and foremost, what we need to do, we're not going to change the sprite size per se. Actually, we should change everything. So let me see if I can just lock these two into place, and then I can adjust the size from here. Perfect. And that gave us no errors, so that's perfect. So what I did is lock the static body and the collision because they are children of the parent, meaning they only exist in relation to the parent. So, and since they're locked, meaning like, hey, these cannot be moved or anything like that. They cannot be moved or scaled. It is only the image that is being scaled. Oh wait, that actually brings up a good point. Okay, good. I was like, since it's only the image that's being scaled, does it scale automatically? Yes, it does. All right, so we're good there. So what I'll do is press Alt and then go down. Oops, nope, wrong one, because I'm on the collision. And exactly what I wanted to avoid. So we're gonna scale down, holding Alt. And bring this over a bit. Let's make it skinnier. Let's reduce the size. All right, and then we'll call this obstacle. All right, and then we can just basically respawn this. And then this is obstacle 2. But obstacle 2 will have to be a little bit bigger. That way the player has something to go through. And then we'll just mess with these values. So let me close obstacle 2. We'll bring obstacle 4 over, and that's going to be this. And then, or sorry, obstacle 3. And then obstacle 4 is going to be this. Control D. And then there we go. And then different variations of exactly that. So let's do one more. One more that has the obstacle 1. Put it in order. Obstacle 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. So 5. We're gonna switch it up a bit. And then 6. Okay. Okay. So now I think it's time to plug in the things, and then what maybe I'll do for the sake of the test, rather than creating it being a procedural, maybe we, I don't know. Right, because here's my thinking. And let's get our project board up for this. Here's my thinking. We is it the best lighting? No. Is it lighting? Yes. All right, we need what do we need? ClickUp. That's where I keep all my projects on ClickUp. Not sponsored, but hey, holla at me. Holla at this guy. Before I get big, I'm super cheap now. or better said is, I'm super affordable right now. Once in a lifetime. No, not once in a lifetime, but you know, when will I be this cheap again? Damn it, I went back and said it again. When will I be this affordable again? The sponsor, click up. That's my mother. All right. So, click up. Let's get the project up. This is for God Game. I should have one for, at least I thought I had one for, maybe this is project 1. Okay, well I didn't label shit for this, but that's fine. So, Flappy, oh, this is already discombobulated. Hold on. Project 1. Can I rename here? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, this is gonna be kids playground. Okay. And then we're doing the Flappy Bird demo. And then in order to do that, we need the movement, which I think we already have complete, but I'll put it down. Movement, collision placement for letters, collisions and placement. For letters, and then what else we'll do is the what's it called? Procedural generation of levels, and then we'll have a question mark. That seems like a whole new thing, but it's all related to the Flappy Bird thing. Excuse me. So we had the movement down, right? So I'll just add a little description. Basic movement down. Flapping feels choppy, but maybe because of the background and lack of animation for player. Okay, and then I'll raise this to, is that the only 2 statuses, in progress and to do? I guess so. Alright. Alright. So now we'll just work on this one. So we have a couple of different tasks to do for this. The first task will be demo of placement for letters, and then we need collision to free letter from scene, and we need to free the letter from the scene and cause audio to be triggered. And then we'll leave it at that. So first and foremost, oops, Control S is just to force a habit. We'll keep it like this, and this is in progress. Okay. Oh man, I'm hoping that this demo works better for kiddo. And now I'm thinking about it. Wouldn't it just be even easier for a child if you just had to worry about one button rather than left and right too? So maybe I'll have two functions. One where my kiddo's playing and I can set it to. So this is what I'll do. It's under the demo. It's under movement. I'll create a subtask under movement, and then we'll say. Forward or constant forward force. And that's the traditional Flappy Bird, right? Where the player is constantly being essentially pushed along to kind of like add that level of urgency of like, oh, I gotta keep going. Like I literally can't stop. The only thing I can control is how me going up and down. And the going down is just a lack of input, letting gravity do its thing. And then going up is like a frantic go, 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 go. So we'll see how that goes. Constant force on player. Okay? And then within this task, what we'll do is apply force on x-axis of player. And then what we'll also do is ensure that sorry, I just now noticed that you guys see okay. Excuse me. So we're gonna apply constant because I can't spell worth shit. Force on the player is x-axis, and then if set force to be bool to allow for easy turn on and off. Okay, so we can do that now. We'll start that now. What I'll quickly do is get the placement set. Right, we can do 3 letters off the jump, real easy, or it should be really easy. But that's what every designer, programmer, creative has ever said. This should be easy. I don't see why there should be a problem with this. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, why is this so hard? I wouldn't have done this if I knew it was this hard. All right, so let's grab these letters, A, B, and C. We're gonna Control C, go into our next scene, and Control V. Whoa. All right, hold on. Let's close out all of this, and then let's put it in this node. And then there we have all of our letters. Okay. First and foremost, let's take letter A. I'm gonna press S, right? Or sorry, W. Now let's adjust the scaling. Let's do the same thing that we did before, where we lock in the collision. Lock in the area, oops, lock in the area, and lock in the collision shape. And then as we adjust the rigid the rigid body, which should be this one. Oh, I just realized it's looping only one song, so let's fix that. Okay. Thought it would be this one. There we go. Alt. I'm gonna hold Alt and scale it down. That unfortunately. Oh, I'm holding the sprite. That's why. So the sprite should also be locked. The audio should be locked. Now that everything underneath it is locked, I should just be able to adjust the parent and we're good to go. Now, is that true? Is that how everything works out? I do not know. I need to close this. I need the letter A. Doesn't look like it's gonna let me do it like that, so let me see if I can just adjust the scale like this. That works. It says it works, but then now it's also throwing an error. So because of this configuration error, I think the A is ultimately going to show up wonky. Let's see if that's right. Yep. Okay. Now, what happened? What was wrong when I did this? It's saying that size changes to the rigid body will be overwritten by the engine. Change the size of the children collision shapes instead. Okay. So this is how we're going to do this. Rather than changing the shape of the rigid body, we're going to listen to it. We're going to change the shape of the collision shape and the sprite. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the sprite be further up on the tree. And then while it's still locked, I'm going to have, I don't know if it's going to let me do this, the collision body be a child of the sprite. No. Nope, it's going to throw a problem. Because it needs its own collision shape. Okay. Pardon. I'm just a little, a little bit of that. What do I need to adjust? The collision shape and the sprite. Unfortunately, I cannot make it a child, which would have made this super easy. It would have made it super easy that way. But what I can do instead, rather than complaining, is maybe adjust them at the same time. So we take this, and this, and then we... Oh, they're locked. We need to adjust. Okay, don't know what happened there. I hate when it does that. Let's just lock this so I'm not clicking anything by accident. I can't lock it, can I? Nope. Wonderful. so let's adjust the sprite. The sprite will be ultimately the parent of this interaction, meaning it will lead the charge of like how we should adjust everything else. Because I know this is gonna bother me, having all these obstacles. So I'm like, there, that way it's organized. I don't know why this is being such an ass. There we go. Oh, alright, sorry. Letter A. Sprite. There's also something I'm learning, and I'll say this while I have very few viewers. Not that I don't value you. You little lurker. You little lurker. What I'll say is that I've noticed while I do... So the reason I stream at this time is because when I do have my child, this is the time that usually they're in bed. So it makes sense to stream Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday around this time, because by that time my child should be in bed. That makes sense. However, I also know I don't work well at night. I get so tired. Whereas if I did this in the beginning of the day or earlier in the day, I'd be so much better off. So maybe I'll switch my Saturday streams to be earlier, but then again, then I have my kid, so never mind. Because I won't. It's not like I won't have my kid every week. This is just a week I do not have my kid. So, you know, we're figuring it out. Okay, so I think that should be good. But now it's emitting a signal to this script. But I think we have a different script running for this one, right? Yeah, Flappy Bird player. So this signal now, while it is being sent, we're gonna disconnect this signal because it's in a brand new scene, and we're gonna reconnect it to this player, which is it's gonna bother me for it to be called that. We're gonna call this Flappy Model, or we'll call it Flappy Player, because otherwise it's just bothering me for it to be called the default variable, or the variable name or the node name of character body 2D. It just feels like so general. Like I'm fine with it in other instances when it's like a child of something, because then I can just look at it and know exactly what it is. But in this case where it's like the parent should be, in my opinion, uniquely named as per every single one of these except for this, which is Flappy World. Alright, I'm going to follow the Pomodoro technique and take a 5-minute break. I'm going to set a timer. Sorry, let me set the timer now. I was going to scroll on social media, but like I'm still streaming, so that's stupid for you guys. That's boring. Nothing really to look at there. So what we'll do instead is maybe keep it game dev related. Let's see. Snoop Dogg came out with a new song. I don't even know who this artist is. Oh, it's not even a new song. It came out a year ago. Trying to pause the music here. Not in this one either. Where is it? Where is this music coming from? Oh, okay. There it is. Looks really good. What I really like is the shading that she did. The shading in particular was really, really cool. That helped to give it its 2D vibe toward the end there. Like, that looks really good. Of course, other parts of it not so much, but I think the point of this is the underside is shading, like the shadow. So it's like the sun's up top. That's the light source, and then underneath is all here. So maybe just it could have been more gradual or whatever, but it looks really cool. Oh, hi there, bat. Blah, blah. Hello. Bait looms. Hello. I'm currently just on a 5-minute break in between game development, but hello, thank you for joining. Um, uh, Following the Pomodoro technique of 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off to kind of just keep the flow going. But since you're here, I'll just hop into what we're doing, which is I'm creating a game for my kiddo. And this game in particular is around phonetic sounds. So a common, really, really big problem with, I mean, there's so many problems with our education system in the U.S. I don't know where you're located, but in the U.S. there's so many problems with our education system. But one of the main things is our reading. How we focus a lot on context clues rather than understanding phonetic sounds that lead to understanding how to quickly read and interpret letters. So here's our little demo. My kid likes Elsa, so I grabbed Olaf. I drew him myself, which is why he looks a little wonky. And oops, sorry. And I have a bunch of letters here, and what I had her do initially is go through the letters like that. But it wasn't particularly entertaining for her. The main thing that was entertaining was her falling down. She really liked falling down. There's something about that motion. I reset the scene. She falls down. She really liked it. It was something really funny for her. So I was like, well, how do I use this, right? Because I'm essentially designing a game for a client. And in this case, I want my client to, of course, be happy, and and the client being my kid. And if they really like falling down, it's not that they're so stupid, like, or my kid is being weird and like, why does she like falling down so much? It's like, well, how can I work with that? So how I'm gonna work with it is this model. This one of the games that my kid, who's very young, is able to do. Very, very few games she's actually able to play successfully, but one of them is Flappy Bird. And again, successfully is a generous it's a generous term. Bait looms. Am I saying that right? Thank you for the follow as well. Greatly appreciate it. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, one of the problems, bait looms, BL, is that cool? I don't know. Is that she, with Flappy Bird, it's a very quick-paced game, as it should be. It's meant for mobile. You're from Spain, so the pronunciation is different. Gotcha. Okay. I wish I knew more Spanish to kind of understand what that could possibly be phonetically in Spain. Belums? Belums? Does that sound right? Belums? You let me know. The A, it's the A is like the A of Flappy Bird. Baalums. Baalums? Does that sound right? Baalums. Baalums. That sounds more right to me. You let me know. um, but anyway, while you're doing that, oh, you forgot the T. Batlooms. 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 Yeah. But don't worry about it. Okay, yeah, we'll do. Thank you. But yeah, okay. So, whoa, what the hell? What happened here? Where's the player? I have the player here. Why would they not be visible though? Did I turn off something? No, everything within the player should be visible. Here's where they're at. And thank you for telling me that's better. I like to get people's names right. I always feel bad about that. Okay, so it's still not visible. Collision and everything is working correctly, but it's not visible, and I imagine that's because we're behind the background. Oh, we're also behind the, oh, it quit. Noodles. Noodles? I've never said your name out loud in a stream. I just know you as, well, I don't want to say your actual name in case that's a private thing, so I'm not going to do that. Hey, good to see you. Heart, heart. I really appreciate. Oh, you have such cute emojis. Oh, you have such cute emojis. I really love the hi. I really love the other one that you have for your Dead by Daylight. The girl with the fat ass. Peak content. But seriously, yes. That's that fat ass I'm talking about. Anyway. Anyway. So where we're at is my kid loves to fall down in the game. So because they love to fall down, I figured, well, we'll emulate Flappy Bird since she's able to play that successfully. Two major problems with Flappy Bird for her, for such a young kid that's really bad at video games as they are. One is that it's pretty brutal. Like, you start Flappy Bird and pretty much immediately you die if you don't flap the appropriate amount of times, which makes sense. It's a mobile game. It's supposed to be fast-paced. I get it. But for my kid, I think that's going to deter her. So I'm also going to increase the amount of the flap here. So let me do that really quick. Flap strength. I have this at 5,000. Why is it at 5,000? It feels way too big. Gravity force is 200. Why does it take so much? It shouldn't even, because gravity force is 200. So the flap strength should counteract it by a little bit. What did you study for making that game, dude? This game in particular, I did not study. So a brief, to the best of my ability, a brief overview of my background is I originally wanted to be a government worker. And then I started doing an internship with the government, and I found out I didn't like it. At a dead-end job, I spent time learning about game development and programming on my own. No school or anything like that. I just thought it was cool, and there were a couple people that I admired that I thought, well, they're not super smart. Like, no offense to them, like Thomas Brush and others. Like, I'm like, they're not super smart. They just stuck with it and learned how to do this stuff, so I can learn how to do this stuff. So yeah, I didn't study anything. I just learned on YouTube. YouTube is basically the university for most people technical, whether you're in cybersecurity or game development. It is all under the umbrella. But yeah, I did not study anything. I just learned all of this stuff on YouTube. There is a really great course for Godot that I'm happy to recommend if you're interested. Looms. I hope I pronounced it right that time. But yeah. I did not study anything. I mean, I do still study programming and stuff like that, but I didn't study anything to make the game. All of this is a learning experience. But yeah, the flap strength, I don't know why that's so high, and yet is not counteracting it very well. I guess a little bit better as far as the flap strength goes. And again, it looks wonky. And the main reason that it looks a little bit wonky is two things. One, in order for games to feel right, they need animation. As of right now, this is just my stupid face from years ago, mind you. But this is just my stupid face going up and down with on a static background, which isn't particularly appealing. Oh, thank you, Batlooms. I appreciate it. And you can do it too. I'm a big advocate for other people getting into game development or just going into something that you think like, oh, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm not good looking enough, whatever it is, you can do it. I went too many years spending time being insecure about me being skilled enough to be able to do game development. Completely wrong in that aspect. My brain too small for coding. My brain too small. My brain too small. No, Noodles, I know you IRL, and I'll tell you what, you're not. Your brain is not too small. But ultimately, I know that your passion lies somewhere else, so that's completely fine. Coding is not for everybody, but once you get into it, it really is something really, really enjoyable to do. Because it's like little puzzles. Is there no collision up here? Okay, there is collision. I just skipped it because I went on top. But yeah, everybody can do it. Same for me. Batloom, no. But yeah. Again, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Some people just like to watch people make video games, and I did that for years. I didn't touch a single game engine for years. I just watched other people do it and like stood in amazement. But it took one of my buddies who was also in software development. I worked as QA, or not QA. I worked as level 1 support. So like you would call in and be like, reset my password, and that's what we do. But yeah, I worked in that for a while. I've lost my train of thought completely. Sorry. It's hard for me to do two things at once. Let me just reset this. So currently what we're doing is, here is the letter A. But the letter A needs to communicate to... Oh, that was your job. Yeah, awesome. Balloons. So we have a similar origin story. So whether you decide to go into game development or you're like Noodles and you're like, no, brain too smalls. Brain too smalls for that. Totally get it. 100% get it. Because there's this classic phrase in programming that's like, if you ever want to feel smart, don't get into programming. Because it constantly makes you feel dumb. Oh, sysadmin. That's great. That's great, man. That's great. I'm also spend half of the stream typically doing cybersecurity. So that's awesome that you're getting into that. Congratulations. And the fact that you're saying your brain's too small for coding, but you're okay with doing sysadmin stuff is like, you're related. You're so closely related. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, but that's just me. That's just what I think. Anyway, so we're at the letter A. And in the letter A, there's this box around it that detects collision. And when we get inside of this box, we're going to say, hey, let me know when something touches this. So once that happens, we're going to emit a signal, boop, 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 and it's going to go to the player. And when it goes to the player, where is it? There we go. And when it goes to the player, what we're going to do is we're going to take the audio device that we have strapped to the A. We're going to grab that. Luckily, Godot is super easy and it allows you to click and drag. So we're going to grab that audio player, and then we're going to say dot play. And then it's going to say, well, typically it should say play what? But it's saying from what position, which is odd. Am I calling this correctly? Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So it played it immediately. And I think the reason it played it immediately is because I was not specific. And that's another thing with programming, is that you have to be super specific because your computer's dumb. I think I'm gonna go live with some goats in the mountain. Oh, live with some goats in the mountain. Well, I'm going to bed now because it's 2 a.m. Okay, yeah, nice to meet you too, Balooms. I hope that you join another stream, and if you don't, you know, just know that you are worthy and you are loved, and you are capable of great things, okay? See you later, bye. Okay, so let's be specific here. If the body that we collide with, you're welcome, bye. If the body that we collide with is the player, at that point, then play the sound. And the 1 equal sign is assignment, so that's not accurate. We're looking for double equal signs. And this is not indented enough. Oh, it should be here. Here? Okay, I'm doing something wrong. There we go. There we go. It was indentation. Indentation, again, everything's so specific for coding, but out of all the languages, Python and GDScript are the best. As far as like being very liberal with the spacing. Noodles lurking, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, Noodles. Thank you so much for lurking. I do the same on your stream almost all the time. I will probably do the same for your stream tonight. And then probably once you start streaming, I'm gonna have you on the background while I'm watching like One Piece or something like that, or like cleaning, because I get my kiddo tomorrow from the mother of my child. So anyway, thanks for lurking. So let's test this out. There we go. All right, so there is a collision when we do that. Good. However, if you can, it's very quick, so you can't fully see it. But as we're going through, like we're going through the spacing rather than colliding with the A and it being like a interactable thing. So in order to do that, what we're gonna do is what I learned in boarding school is what we're gonna do is also do this. If what we collide with is the body, we're gonna play the sound, and we're also going to what is referred to as cue free, which basically means erase it, get rid of the thing. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example of this. When you collide with a coin in Mario, it plays a little animation and a sound, and it disappears, or cue freeze as far as programming is concerned. So, test that out. Whoa. Oh. Again, I wasn't specific. I said cue free, but when are we cue freeing? It thinks we're cue freeing the player because it's running on the player script. But no, what we want to do is grab the letter A here and then dot cue free. That's what we want to do. Oh, but it didn't play the sound. It didn't play the sound though. So let me comment this out, make sure the sound still works. Okay, the sound still works, but I need, first of all, let's adjust the camera, because the camera angle is god-awful. Camera angle is god-awful. So we're going to go into Inspector, we're going to adjust the zoom. We can briefly kind of see it in the in this little very, very thin pink line here. That's where our camera view is located. We're gonna make this way closer, let's say 0.5. That makes it way bigger, so I was incorrect in what direction we should be going. Let's say 2. Let's not say 2, let's say 1.5. That feels a bit better. But let's also make it where the camera is located just a little bit above the player, so we're not like focusing so heavily on the ground. Let's see how that looks. A little bit better. But now we don't have a clear view of the whole scene, and a whole thing of Flappy Bird is to be able to see what's upcoming. So, now it looks like these have a unilateral relationship, meaning like when you affect one, you have to affect the other one. I mean, I suppose I can fix it in the code, but I don't really want to. I don't want to do more code than necessary. Not because I'm lazy. Well, partially because I'm lazy. Partially because I also don't know. I don't want to screw it up. Yeah, you can't see much. All right, so 1 is not it. Let's try 1.2. 1.2 is bad. 1.5. Okay, 1.5 is bad. 2. Oh, I'm going in the opposite direction again. 0.9. Maybe we'll focus on the camera angle a little bit, and we'll just try to get the mechanic right for now. Maybe that's what we'll do. Let's see here. I hit my 25-minute mark, so I should take another break, but we'll see. Because right when I started to take a break, that's when what's it called? Batlooms joined us. Batlooms. Imagine that meant like a slur in in Spain, and I've just been saying it. I doubt it, but that's what I thought. Okay, so right now we confirm that the sound does activate whenever we press A, or whenever we collide with A. That's good. But however, we need to adjust the logic to free it from a scene. We have it here to cue free. Okay, so we do collide with it, but two things. One, when we collide with it on the side, at least that's how it looks. Let's test that out. How do I stop this? F8. F6. Oh no. Okay, it looks like either way when we collide with it, whether it be the side or not. Yeah, okay, which is good. That's good. Okay. So what we'll do is add an await here, and then we'll await by, let's say, 2 seconds. And then we'll cue free. Doesn't look like that await is doing shit. Because it definitely did not wait 2 seconds. Let's see how this works again. Await. Expected signal or coroutine after wait. What's the coroutine again? Let's see. A function that can pause and resume its execution at a specific point. Well, that's what I'm trying to do then, is implement a coroutine here. I'm trying to say await and then wait. Let me look up the documentation to see how this works. Also, I have no music. My music went bye-bye. What happened to my music? Oh, I was going into this. I forgot. And then that's when Batlooms joined us. Batlooms. So let's grab my streaming music again. Here. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Cool, we're good. I think that's a little bit too loud. Okay. All right, what am I doing? Oh, right. I'm going to see how await actually works, or how it's supposed to work. So let me pull up the Godot documentation and pull up await to see how this works. Waits for a signal or coroutine to finish. See lists of waiting signals and coroutines. Await for a button to be pressed. Await for a wait confirmation. I know there has to be a wait for a button to be pressed. In this case, wait confirmation becomes a coroutine, which means the caller also needs to await. Await confirmation. I'm just trying to set it by seconds. Like, I remember being able to do this. Oh, unlike yield, sorry, I think I was thinking about yield. In previous Godot versions, you cannot obtain the function state object. This has to be done to ensure type safety. With this type safety in place, function cannot say that it returns in int, which is a number, an integer, while it actually returns a function state object. So I may not be able to do it like how I used to be able to do it. So would I have to create a function that measures real time? Is that time.delta time, I'm thinking? Well, I'm thinking, I think time.delta time. So yeah, await, and then time, let's say timer. And then the timer, how do I work this? One shot, pause. How do I set the timer? To start the timer if it is not started already. This value is used for wait time. Maybe I don't want to use timer then. Maybe I want to use, let's see, time. Time is a class, so probably not. How do I set the value? Returns the amount of time passed in milliseconds. Don't need that. Returns the amount of time passed in microseconds. Don't need that. Returns the current Unix timestamp in seconds. Okay. So get. So I'm thinking that we're gonna do time dot get Unix time from system, and then state 3 seconds. It's a float, so I think we set it here. Is this the last match in the sequence here? No. milliseconds, microseconds, seconds. So I think it's going to be get Unix time, and this is a class of time. Yep. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Await. So we're going to await the time dot get Unix Unix time from system of 3 seconds. Shit. Too many arguments. If it takes no arguments, then how am I supposed to say how many seconds? I guess this just gets the time. But then if I set it into a variable of time that get Unix time from system, and then we say, I don't know if it's gonna measure the time from the start of the application, or if it's gonna measure the time from the start of the system, or if it's gonna measure the time from the start of the application. Again, programming is very specific, so you gotta think about these things, buddy. You gotta think about these things. I don't know why I became a sudden, 1950s finger wagger. Probably out of procrastination because I don't know how to exactly time this to be better. Ooh, that could be interesting, right? Ooh, I have an idea. What I'm thinking, right? Because a wait is waiting for an event, essentially, to happen. It's waiting for something to happen in order to do it. And rather than telling it, wait this many seconds, why don't we create, and I'll do it as I'm talking, so that way it's a little bit more exciting. Why don't we instead create, for the letter A, an animation? So we'll take this, we'll add an animation player to it. And in this animation player, we have the ability to put in our animation. We're going to click new, and this is going to be called, what would we call this? What would we call this? I guess I'll call it touched. Because then, if anything, if I like this, potentially I can plug the same animation frames and the things that it's affecting to all the letters. Layman's terms, if I like how the animation works, I should be able to apply it to all letters. I'm not sure if that was clear. So, what we're going to do is it's going to ask for each keyframe. The very first keyframe that we're going to be concerned about here is the... I guess we don't care about the... We really care about the sprite, because sprite is, to touch on a point I had made with a buddy of mine, Equasia, it is the physical world. It's not the quantum world where all of the logic lies. It is the physical, three-dimensional reality in which we see. So. Man. Now I want to talk about quantum computing, but no. No, Jeff, no. So this is going to be the very first keyframe. So we're on the letter A in the sprite. Right over here next to texture, we see the letters. We're going to click the little key here. He's going to ask us a question. I've never fully understood the question, but I followed enough tutorials to say, click create. And then once we do that, we have created our first frame, which carries the values for the image that we have right now. We're going to go to the midsection of this frame. And then we're going to say at the mid frame, we're going to, what looks nice? What looks like a, ding? maybe like an explosion like the and then collapse into itself. That's what I'm thinking. Like a dwarf star or something like that, where it's like so much pressure, whoop, boom, and then it disappears. Am I overthinking it? Perhaps. And then at the end frame here, we're going to make it super tiny to the point where you can barely see it, and that's going to be the end frame. So let's play that animation. Interesting that it did not capture that as I thought it would. Now, why would that be? Right? Because all this, that's the fun part of programming. It's all your fault, baby boy. Because I did something wrong. So what I'm gonna do then is click this texture. I'm gonna delete it. I say delete it. Sorry. There we go. I gotta get it back to its original form here. All right. And since I can't do the texture, perhaps I should do the scale, right? Is that what I'm modifying? I am modifying the position, but how am I not modifying the scale? I am. Okay, it just wasn't visible because I had it how I had it in the inspector. So I'm adjusting the scale. Yes, I'm technically adjusting the position, but that's because of where it is in the reality, in the two-dimensional reality. But truly what I'm modifying is the scale. So that is going to determine our frames here. So as mentioned before, the scale for this is going to be frame 1. Midway point, the scale is going to be bigger. Whoop. Like that. A little bit smaller than that. A little big. That's going to be our midway frame. And then our end frame will be super tiny, barely visible. Now play. How's that look? I think it looks good. Maybe we just want to make it a little bit faster. So rather than having it take 1 second, we'll make it be 0.5. Ooh, nope, no. So, pardon. What I'll do is take the frames and make this, let's say, at the 0.25 mark. 0.25. 0.25 feels a little fast. 0.3 sounds more right. And then for this one, we'll bring it over here, so it doesn't take the full 1 second for it to run. Let's see. Now that feels a little bit too fast, so I'll expand it a bit more. I think that's good. Okie dokie. Okay, I think that's good. Save. And then what we'll do is, that's for the animation. And that the animation is called touched. So here we're gonna say, we're gonna grab the animation player, and then we're going to say .play, and it's going to ask us what do you want us to play. Only 2 options: the animation that we created called touched, and reset. We're going to select touched, and then once that happens, we're going to await for the animation. Oh wait, hold on. Await for play. Oops. Dot animation. I think there's a way to animation finished, And that hopefully that works. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. Let's run it. I think it did it. I think it did it, guys. I think it was a little stuttery there for a second, so let's try it again. Okay, let's adjust the final frame in our animation to be a little bit more clear that it disappeared. Because if you notice for a second, and this is maybe me nitpicking, it pauses as it's super tiny. It should just basically be like, you know, Team Rocket blasting off again, ding. Like it should be like that. Okay. Okay. And a Q freed right when the animation finished. So that's so exciting. Um, and this also speaks to maybe I'll even cut this segment, which is like, oof. Unfortunately, I cannot tell how close I am in this, so I'll do my best to just clip it. Like the reason I'm able to finish some of these things a little bit quicker, and not to say that I'm doing the game super fast, but to say that I'm able to do all of this a little bit quicker is because of all of the failures that I've had. So whenever you see somebody blowing through something and being able to draw or write something really, really well, really, really quickly, or quickly to you, you don't see all of the failures that led up to this. Which is also part of why I'm recording this, not only to keep myself disciplined with game development and hacking, but also to show you guys, hopefully, the journey of me becoming a really good game developer and hacker. So yeah, thanks for being along on the ride, especially the lurkers. Lurkers keep me sane, so I appreciate you too. All right. There's no way I'm going to be able to clip it and do the stream. I don't know who the hell I think I am. So yeah, let's adjust that final frame in the animation. Hello, animation player. Why aren't you popping up? There we go. I don't know why it's not letting me see. So let's take this final frame out. It was about right here. And we're going to go back to the... we're going to go back to this sprite here. So... then from here, we're going to make sure that it's appropriately tiny. So Alt... and then that is going to be the scale. So let's try that out. Yeah, I think that's about right. And then if anything, we can add some particle effects to it as well. But we'll see. I'm an itchy boy. Sorry, that may sound gross out of context. I was itching my knee. Just to say blanketly, I'm an itchy boy sounds weird. All right. Anyway. Perfect, dude. That looks perfect. Oops. The flap still doesn't feel right. Maybe because it's such a radical change in acceleration, but like it doesn't feel like it's moving. It feels like it's almost teleporting rather than moving through space. But but I also know it's moving through space because we're not calling the direct global positioning of the player. Hold on. Maybe the rate of velocity is just too high, maybe. Let's make this a stupid number like 1,000, but and I say it's a stupid number because the flap strength was 8,000. Like that you can see more clearly, but the gravity is really for weighing it down. So let's reduce the gravity by 100. Damn, gravity is still pretty strong, even at 100. So let's make you 10. What? Why? Now I'm confused. If the gravity is 1 and the flap strength is 1,000, that means the gravity should cut the flap strength by 1, making it 999. So there's no reason it should still be like right on the ground. Huh. I wonder why that is. Alright, well, let's bring this back up to 200 and bring this up to 8,000 again. All right, I don't know why that is, but we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. Let's continue to do the playlist. I don't know how many times I've clicked loop, and this playlist refuses to loop. Okay, and I'm about almost at an hour and a half, which means I'm about to switch over to hacking. Let me also check what time Noodles is streaming, so that way I can be on that stream, hopefully. Hopefully I can see the stream. But I think she'll start right at around the time that I end. Or they will start around the time that I end, sorry. I keep making that mistake, I'm so bad at that. I'll get better, for sure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. You know what? Why am I doing it the long way? I could just do this, I think. Click Noodles. Schedule. Oh, she starts in... Oh. Did she already start? Wait, what's today's date? Today's the 9th. Oh, she's not scheduled, or they are not scheduled to stream today. Oh, but they're about to start, I think. Oh, no, this is a stream from 9 days ago. Okay. So they may stream today, but they're definitely streaming tomorrow. Puzzles and story mode for Sunday, which sounds really nice. And that's from 8 p.m. to 12. So check out Noodles' channel, you lurk. I say lurker in the nicest way possible. That's the other person that's here. Please do not leave. I'd appreciate it. Why did it log me out of Twitch? What the hell? I don't know what's happening, guys. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, cool. We're all good. Okay. So great. We have the perfect animation. Maybe perfect is the too liberal of a word, but liberal, damn libs. Oh, sorry, I am crazy pants all over the place. All right, anyway, but I think it's a pretty good animation. So pretty good. Okay, so we should be able to apply that same exact animation with the same exact frames to all of our letters. Oops, I hope I did that right and I didn't screw something up. Let me go back. Hopefully that, I don't know if I just screwed it up. Let's see. Whoa, yeah. I think I screwed it up because I'm missing a frame. Yep, I'm missing a frame. So let me do there. And save, and try it again. There we go. All right, so again, we should be able to apply that to everything else. So cool. So and by everything else, we're just gonna apply this to, we have 3 letters, we have 3 little blocks. Again, we'll talk about procedural animation later, but we'll just add in our letters. First, let's move our player here. So let's move them over there. And then after that, we'll grab our letter B, bring it over here. Obviously, it's too big for that space. You're too big for that space. Not to body shame you, little B, but you're too big. So what we'll do is, I have to adjust the sprite. So let me move the sprite up here. And then the collision shape. So I have to adjust the sprite and the collision shape. I don't think it's gonna let me move all of them at once. First of all, this should be scaled up to match it, because that's going to be a pain in the ass. That's number 1. Number 2, the area collision shape that actually detects the player rather than the physical body itself needs to be spaced out. And now that all of those are appropriately spaced out, what we're going to do is highlight all of them, for the exception of the rigid body, because we cannot adjust that shape, and reduce the scale if it lets us. Is there an error? Why is it not letting us? I hate when I touch the parallax effect. No, I don't need the player. I need the letter B. There we go. Oh, see, now it's letting me adjust it, but it's going to let me adjust the wrong thing. So once I get into collision shape, it's like, no, you can't scale it. You're no longer allowed to modify it. So let me do maybe the scale and then the collision. No. All right, so let me adjust the, but if no, they can't all be a child of that. That's not how it's gonna work. Oh wait, will it work that way? Nope. Figured. Okay. So what we're gonna do is adjust it, and we'll to make sure that it is proportional, we'll look back at the letter A and specifically the sprite to see what its scaling is, and then we're just gonna copy it. So, and I'm gonna copy it exactly, so that way there's doesn't leave any room for like, this looks slightly off. Like, forget it. Like, let's grab the exact measurements, measure twice, cut once, right? That classic phrase, if you've heard of it. How is that? That doesn't seem right. .039, .028, .94, .94. All right, whatever. I'm not gonna nitpick it. I guess if as long as the Y matches, I'll leave it at that. All right, so now let's adjust the collision shapes to be appropriate. So the player is not colliding with something they can't even see. So there's the physical body of the player, or of the shape. And now I need the actual secondary collision shape that actually checks to see if the player has touched it. So now that both of those are adjusted, what we're going to do is decouple the previous signal that we had, and then we're going to recouple it with the flappy player that we have here. And then it's going to add a function at the end. We're going to repeat basically a lot of the same code. So we're going to check if if we collide with the player, then, but this time rather than referencing obviously the letter A, the audio streamer attached to the letter A, we're going to reference the audio streamer attached to the letter B. Same thing, we're going to play that sound associated with that audio tape that essentially we tape to it. And then and then we're going to have a animation play, which is going to be called touched. Now, the touch animation, I think, is here. We should have created a file. No? Interesting. Okay. Either way. Here's the... Oh, I need an animation player. You know what? I should be able to actually Control-C, Control-V, the audio player here, and then it should have the same touched, animation. So that's good. And then same thing, we're gonna say we have it playing, and then we're playing the audio. Why do I have this spaced out? Like to take up 2 lines. That's crazy. We have it spaced out, and then we're going to play the animation associated. So letter B is animation player dot play, and it's going to access which animation, the touch animation, and then we're going to await for the touch animation. I'm going to reference it again. I'm going to wait for the touch animation to dot finish. So, and then once the animation is finished, at that point, then we take the letter, and then we're gonna get rid of it, cue free. So same exact logic, which also makes me think that I could probably reduce some of this into a function and then just have variables at play. But that is better big brain coding stuff. I don't want to spend time doing that. I just want to do it quick and dirty. Hey, that's what she said. Said, comma. All right. Cool. Sorry guys, I got distracted there for a little bit. All right. So, letter A goes out well. And B goes out well. Guys, awesome. Now let's get the letter C in there, and then we can kind of refine the actual gameplay itself. Right now we worked on some of the aesthetics, which is functional, especially for a child. The aesthetics do matter, but we'll work on making it a little bit more engaging. How to do that is another question. Well, let's get the C in there. And I just hit the mark to switch over to hacking. So I will do so in a little bit. So let me just get the C in there, and then we'll finish with that. Oops. I'm so happy I created the sample world. While it's not completely set, and I should set it for all of the letters, so that way once I need to go into it, I can just go into it. What I mean by that is that same if I did with the letter A, B, and C. Basically everything's already set for them, and then I was able to customize it per the level I was on, which I think is the best place to be. Excuse me. Letter B, letter C, where are you? I'm over here, I'm over here. Well, you gotta be over here, silly. And then we're gonna take the same thing as before. So we're gonna adjust the sprite and have it be a, not a material. Here of a, what is it, 0.98? I think I had it as. Let's check the letter C. Or sorry, the letter B, I mean. And then that is a 0.94. 0.94. So let me adjust that. 0.94. There we go. Okay, now that we have that adjusted, let's make sure that the sprite is like pretty up there as far as the scene tree goes. And now that that is adjusted, we'll make sure that the collision is perfectly adjusted for it. Boop. Oh, nope. This is why you do Alt, hold the Alt while you adjust, but so that way it fixes it on both sides. There we go. And then here, same thing, adjust it. There we go. Now that that is more or less perfect, okay, same thing, letter C. Letter C. Sorry. Letter C. What I learned in boarding school is, we're gonna, again, decouple it, because right now it's referencing the other player that we have. We're not doing that. We are decoupling this one. And then this one will now be, I wonder, am I affecting this one too? No, I'm not. Good. Good. Okay. That's why I didn't want to make it its own individual scene, or as Unity would call it, a prefab, because then it's affecting all of them, and I don't want to affect all of them. Man. I'm literally drinking an energy drink, and I'm tired. And there's something about mental fatigue that is really new to me, because you would think, like, I do weight training and weightlifting and all that stuff all the time, but there is a significant difference between mental fatigue and physical fatigue. Mental fatigue, my endurance is shit. Physical fatigue, my endurance is slightly less shit. I'm still a big power lifting, power punching guy rather than heavy endurance, but I'm working on that, because that's not good in a fight or a life or death situation. You need to be able to have really good cardio and endurance. Same with streaming and programming and hacking. You need to be able to have really good mental endurance to be able to do these tasks and focus and think for prolonged periods of time. My day job does help with that a little bit, but it also depends. It greatly depends. So anyway, we have the area. We're going to again emit the same signal. It's going to go to the player. We're going to again, once again. Wait, what? What the hell? Also, I should have named these better because this, I mean, granted, you can tell what it is by the variables that we're using in the function, but you can't tell just based off the function. So that was silly of me. And in this case, this is part of the problem. I also use two different things: area 2D body shape entered and area 2D body entered. They essentially function the same. Looks like this function is just a little bit more specific than the other one, but I should have utilized the same function because otherwise it's like kind of screws it up a little bit. Case in point, like we're a little stuck here with the C right now. But I'm gonna use the simpler one, which is area 2D body entered. Underscore C. There we go. So same parameter. If what's being touched is the player, if we collide with the player, and in that case, then we again do a lot of the same stuff. We're gonna grab the audio player. We're gonna play the sound attached to that. Then we're going to get the animation player going. So we're going to control this, control C this animation player that has the sound, or sorry, the animation. And then we're going to click the parent object, which is the letter C here, control V, and then pop that right in there, boop, boop. And then luckily the touch animation is already right in there. That's why we that's why we copied it. So once we have that, then we can just say, hey, also that animation that is already in there, yeah, what about it? Well, play that animation. Which one? Reset or touch? I want you to play the touch animation. Okay. And also a really good value of this is that when you're able to create different enemies, you can essentially apply the same logic or same animation or visual effect unilaterally. Maybe the how they look when they're hit is different, but maybe you're able to, have that same classical flashing, modulating on the player, so that way it like looks like it flashes white of like, oh, you hit me, and then you're able to continue on from there. Anyway, now that we have the animation played, then we just need to wait for the animation to finish. Finish, animation finished, and then after that, get rid of it. Okay, let's test it out. Oops, what the hell? Okay, that collision didn't work how it was supposed to. Okay, it works, but it's not fluid. And a big part of that is that the gravity needs to be a higher value. Let's see if we double it. What the hell? I think I need to adjust the placement of the letter C. I think that's part of the problem. Oh, also the letter C collision shape is way off. See, like that spillover on both sides. That's why it feels weird, or part of why it feels weird. So let's adjust that. Okay. Oops. Control S. And now let's adjust the positioning a bit. We'll adjust the positioning a bit, and we'll also make it a little bit easier to reach. What is up with you, C? Everybody else is falling in line, but C is not. Well, time to debug. Then we can go into hacking. Which I not to have to hurry, but I stopped streaming at 10, so I need to hurry for the sake of myself, because I'm only giving myself the 10 o'clock. Once 10 o'clock hits, I've covered my computer science quota for the day, so I'm not gonna do more hacking. So essentially, I'm just I'm cutting into my hacking time. Let me make sure Noodle's not streaming right now, because I don't want to miss that either. Okay, thank God I didn't miss that. Okay, thank God. Ooh. Sheesh. 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 All right, sorry guys. I get real. I was gonna say I get really weird on stream, but I think it's because I don't get a whole lot of feedback as of right now. I just start to devolve into being myself, like I don't, which is just a weird wonky guy. I'm just a weird wonky guy. All right, that was even weirder. Anyway, so let's debug this. And what do I mean by debug is that where we expect to hear the letter, to the animation to player, the sound, all that stuff doesn't seem to be happening. But let's see if we're not actually detecting the collision. How we're going to do that is we're going to add a print statement that says, "You're touching me. Touching me." I should put that in like the SpongeBob uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, but I'll keep it at this for now. And basically what we're gonna see, if this is indeed happening, if collision is being detected, then we're gonna see, "You're touching me," down here. So let's see if that's true. Doesn't seem like it. Right, let's move the play. Yep, see? Nothing. So it doesn't seem to be detecting the collision. So what I'm thinking, let's go back to the scene. The collision shape for the actual physical object itself takes precedence over the collision shape that is detecting the player. So easy way to resolve that is that we're just gonna move it down. I said move it down. Oh, you know what? Actually, that works better. I accidentally solved it. So rather than moving it down, what we're making is, so here is the physical object that the player is colliding with, and within that physical object, within the same cell, or I don't know how else to explain it. Within the same thing, there is a sub-layer of the collision detection that detects the player. So, adjusting. I thought I solved it, but I didn't. Let's see. Is the structure different? I have the sprite. I have the sprite as the first thing. I have the collision shape, and in the collision shape, the area is a child of that, as well as the collision shape for that child. Area is a collision for that, as well as the collision shape, area 2D, collision shape. Collision shape, area 2D, collision shape. Sprite is the very first thing. Yep, sprite is the very first thing. And then audio and animation as a child of the actual rigid body. Audio and animation as a child of the rigid body. Yep. What am I missing? Maybe I just need to adjust the shape a little bit more. So I think this should be bigger because it is and then technically, I think that the secondary collision shape shouldn't really necessarily matter, is my thinking. And the reason that it shouldn't necessarily matter is that it should work in tandem. Once this is detected, then this is detected, is my thinking. Let's see if I'm right. What the hell? Somehow I screwed them all up now? Okay, I don't know what I did wrong. Oh, am I fixing all of them? Am I adjusting all of them at once? I am. Okay, let's go way back. Let's go way back. Okay. Because everything was fine and dandy. A, B, and then C became a mess. So I'm gonna move it over. Save. And now the collision shape. So let's leave, I guess, the collision shape. Since they're all intertwined, that should be working fine. It's just the sprite that we have to adjust then. And the sprite should be, again, the second in the series. So let's move this down. Okay, and technically that should be enough because everything else is fine. I was like, how did I screw this up again? Why is he not working? Why is he not working? Why is he not working? Everything else works. Okay, I'm gonna take a brief break, and in that brief break, hopefully it'll come to me. That happens all the time with programming, is that sometimes you literally just need to step away for a couple minutes, and then you're gonna, oh, no duh, that's so easy to solve. Sometimes you're just staring at a problem too long. You need to grab a breath of fresh air, but I'm streaming, so I'm not gonna grab a breath of fresh air. What I will grab is a sweet, sweet breath of something online to watch. Wow, I missed the Breakies game jam again. I meant to participate in this year, and it's like, here's the best games of this. And I was like, oh, I guess I completely missed when that game jam happened. One of the biggest game jams of game dev in the game dev community. Whoops. Whoops. All right. First, let me pause my music. Then let me open up the video and start my timer. Set 5-minute timer.
5 minutes, starting now.
Always been game jams. Setting aside a few days to do nothing but get together with friends, and after a bit of programming, okay, maybe some fairly intense programming. All right, after programming like a maniac deep into the night to meet the deadline, you have a game. It might not be perfect, but it's something you made, and I just love that feeling. And I'm super happy to see that so do many of you. We recently held the 12th Brackies Game Jam, and over 10,000 people participated.
10,000.
A wild amount of games. And that means that we now have a treasure trove of neat game ideas ready to play and get inspired by. Of course, there are a bit too many to play all of them, so I've handpicked some that I thought were particularly interesting. So, for the first time in 4 years, let's have a look at the best games from the Brackies Game Jam. But first, this video is sponsored by Senva. If you're excited
I'm
about
so
Godot 4, make
upset
sure
that I missed this game jam.
Beginner and intermediate courses, including a fantastic free introductory course on Godot. What's really cool about Senva is how they combine fun and practical learning through professional video tutorials, written lessons, and interactive quizzes. Plus, you'll be building real projects across various genres from RPGs to bullet hells. Senva also has a wide range of courses on Python, Unity, Unreal, and other essential tools. With a single subscription, which includes a 7-day free trial, you unlock over 300 courses. Use the coupon code below to get an extra 20% off the first year of your Senva subscription on top of any existing site-wide discounts. The offer is valid for the first 50 subscribers, so make sure to use your coupon today to start your game dev adventure. Alright, let's play some games. Now, as always, the jam ran for a week, and the theme for this jam was calm before the storm. This jam had some really fun takes on the theme, and one of my favorites is Storm Grill. In Storm Grill, you play as a, well, outdoor grill. In this game, your mission is to not get doused by the storm, so you fight against the raindrops using your mouse, and quickly realize that the fight is futile. Luckily, you can buy power-ups to get more efficient, and what feels like 5 minutes but is actually an hour later, you have conquered the rain. Storm Grill is a super addictive game, and as it turns out, not the only one this jam with upgrades. Take for example Click to Survive. This game combines the simplicity and satisfaction of a clicker game with the intensity of wave-based defense. Click the button, get money, buy upgrades, and hopefully survive all 10 waves.
See, I love game ideas like that, and I think about that all the time. Like, one of the things that I thought about for myself as a developer pretty early on was, like, I was really inspired by Joyner Lucas and how Joyner Lucas, not throughout all of his career, but the couple things that really popped for Joyner Lucas into the mainstream before he was more mainstream is his remixes of really good, of like really poppin' viral songs. But he would remix it to the point where it was like, oh my, like listening to the original version is garbage. And that's why I really kind of saw myself as a game developer. It's like, I may not come up with the most unique idea, but I'm gonna make it my own. I'm gonna take this idea that already exists and I'm gonna make it unique. And this is exactly, like, essentially this is a tower defense game. This looks like more of a tower defense game mixed with a button clicker or a smasher, which is really cool. And again, very, very simple.
Simple and effective. Especially because the game doesn't let you pause to buy upgrades. Instead, you have to prioritize between shopping and button clicking, making the whole experience wonderfully hectic. Plus, just like rain, the sound of clicking just calms me down. Now imagine that Terraria was a bullet hell. That was my experience with Crystal Mode. It's an impressive entry with a large amount of complexity considering it was made by just a single person.
Wow.
The levels appear to be randomly generated and have destructible blocks like Terraria that the player can then collect and place somewhere else. So you have to explore the level, gather resources, and then return to the crystal to purchase better tools, guns, or potions. This
is incredible.
The crystal storm then begins and the game kicks into combat mode.
And what's another thing that I love about game jams? Oh, I've always wanted to play this. Oh wait, which one? Which one was it? Noodles? Was it this one? Oh, Terraria. Yes, I've heard amazing things about Terraria. Amazing things about Terraria. Same thing. I've always wanted to play it as well, but I never got into it. But yeah, very cool for somebody to come up with a SP? SIP? SIP? I don't know what SP means. Sorry, I don't know what that means. But yeah, I've always wanted to play Terraria as well. Really cool for people to come up with different modes from that. Spelled. Yep, you're getting there. You're getting there. You're an adult person who can spell things. Spelt. Yep. You got it. You got it. I'm a horrible speller, so I make fun of you unjustly. I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're not, Noodles. With a second degree in English. Right, right. No, that's not you. That's not you. You're just like a attractive streamer. That's what you do. Nothing more. All right, that was my alarm for that to go off, but I'll finish this last little bit of the video and then go into working because I love looking at their game jam ideas. And again, I'm so mad. Bracky's took like a 5-year break, and then he came up with the game jam. I was so excited to sign up for it, and it completely missed me by.
Appear to be randomly generated and have destructible blocks like Terraria that the player can then collect and place somewhere else. So you have to explore the level, gather resources, and then return to the crystal to purchase better tools, guns, or potions, even make a bed. The crystal storm then begins and the game kicks into combat mode.
Another thing I love about this is that this is not overly complicated. This is very simple tile maps over here. This is a sprite character, or essentially a pixel art character, but I think of it as a sprite. This is what, again, pixel art.
It has
with spawn points. That light thing that we talked about before with the animation.
Kept me entertained for
Actually, that may be a shader. I don't know.
a good while.
I think this is honestly probably like a modulation of the color to just make it more white rather than any other color. For a split second, and that's treated as an animation.
One thing that I had a hard time getting used to was navigating horizontally around the level. The player falls very quickly and the tunnels you dig are quite narrow, making it hard to navigate precisely. So I ended up falling down a lot of holes. I would love to see something that made it easier to move upwards, such as strapping a jetpack to the player or placing ladders. In fact, it could even be interesting to try snapping the movement of the player to the grid. It might not work, but sometimes putting restrictions on things can end up feeling freeing, because it can make the outcome of your actions more predictable. Regardless, I loved my experience with Crystal Mole.
Yeah,
And
looks
staying on
great.
the subject of movement, in Sword Dance,
And super complex for somebody that made it in a week, one person. Really, really impressive. I love game developers. Anyway, where are we at with this? Where are we at with the game? We are... Okay, the fall is still slow. Okay, so for whatever reason, the collision is not operating the way it should. B works just fine, but C still doesn't work. Now, let me retry that again, because I don't know why A is a little off. B works perfectly. But they should all be following the same logic. I mean, I think, let me confirm, actually. I can do this by going over here. And if I adjust the collision shape, yeah, they should all match the same. You see, whatever I do here matches to whatever is done on any other cell. So I don't know why they operate differently when all of the collision shapes are essentially the same. And I'm almost at 2 hours, so I should get into hacking. I should get into hacking. I will get into hacking, and I'll save this for another day. I really was hoping I could get this solved so my daughter could play a little bit of this game, but I mean, I guess she can still do the A and B. Let me see if I can fix this a little bit better. You know what I wanted to do is add a constant force to the player and then turn that on and off to see which one she would like better. I know she's not going to be patient enough for me to edit it in real time while she's playtesting. So let me just add that to the player now, and that will be the last thing I do for game dev. Then we'll switch over to hacking. I kind of want to smoke as a reset. I don't know if Twitch will flag me if I start smoking. I have no idea how that works. I guess I can Google it in front of you guys. Can you smoke on Twitch? If you're a legal age, you can partake pending your country and state. These activities are legal. consuming marijuana on Twitch is permitted if you live in a country or region where marijuana is legal. How does it determine that? How do you know where I live? Is it based off of IP address or what? Because couldn't you just say, I mean, I obviously live somewhere where it's legal, but couldn't I say that I live somewhere where it's legal when I don't live somewhere that it's legal? Smoking and vaping on Twitch is not appreciated, but it is technically allowed under the condition. What does appreciated mean? Most likely IP address? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But also, a fundamentally flawed system. Because if I have a VPN, I can say wherever I live wherever I want. I live in Croatia, and then I can live in frickin' North Korea, and then I can probably not North Korea. I'm sure there's limitations, but nevertheless, you can choose where your IP address is. That's how some people are still able to watch The Office on Netflix. But anyway, what do I want to fix for this? I got distracted. I distracted myself. True. I think you also put an address for payouts. That makes sense too. So if somebody like flags you or whatever, then it's like, well, do they live somewhere where it's legal? Nope. All right. Yeah. C is not working, and we also have the code. So unless you never plan to be affiliated or partnered, then you have some, yeah. Which I mean, why wouldn't you want to be a partner or an affiliate? Why wouldn't you take that opportunity if it was presented to you? It's too quiet. Pardon. I need some music. All right. So okay, good to know. Just because I was like, I'm getting a little tired. I kind of want to switch it up. I mean, I am gonna go into hacking pretty soon. But I also was like, you know what? Could I just really quick smoke? But if it's gonna be a problem down the stream, down the line, I'll skip it. Hopefully, I can eventually be like so. Well, hopefully, I can be like so successful that it doesn't matter. You know how Snoop Dogg and like other rappers go in places and smoke weed all the time, and it's like never a problem for them because they have like fuck you money and fuck you clout. You know, that would be ideal. And then C just does not work. But C should operate just the same as everybody else. So why doesn't it? Now, does C work in our sample scene? It does. It does. Yeah. Oh man, I just want to figure this out. But okay, don't worry about that because I'm probably gonna get too stuck on this problem, and then I'm gonna spend no time hacking. Let me spend time on this, so that way it's a good playable demo for my kid. Oh right, that's the thing I wanted to do is apply a constant force to the player in case like. That's one thing I noticed with children that you kind of take for granted is your hand-eye coordination, like being able to move a camera and walk, or in this case, just being able to flap or go up and down and move left and right. So to remove the complexity of it, which is what Flappy Bird does as a basis, and just have a constant force being applied to the player. So that's what we're gonna do now. Let me close out these functions so that way the code looks a little bit more clean. And we will process it in the physics function. This is in movement, so I will put in movement. So let's set a bool. Actually, yeah, it should be a bool variable. A variable that is a bool. Whoops! Oh my god. Oh right, I'm thinking of like C#. Where you have to state the data type of a variable. So we're going to say constant underscore force. is equal to true. And can we do this? Can we say at export a variable is not allowed at this level? All right. Excuse me. So we'll just bring it up to the global level. And then by doing so, what we're doing here, just so you guys can see, is here. So that way we can turn it on and off at a whim. And what is it in particular? Well, we're going to essentially code a separate feature. So we're going to say if constant force is equal to true, then take the player position, or I'll say the velocity x, the horizontal velocity of the player, will be plus equal to a constant force. So we'll create another variable, and we'll have it be very much the same, but we're not going to set it to a bool. We're going to call it constant force actually, let's change this. We'll say is constant force on. Is constant force underscore on, and then we'll change that over here. And if, right, is constant force on is set to true by default, and then if the constant force we'll set the constant force to say like 100, and then we'll apply the velocity x position to be the constant force. So that should progressively move it over. What? Assignment not allowed? Oh, whoops. Sorry. Double equal sign. Da-da. There we go. Okay. So let's, maybe if I'm more specific, because I did call out the player here. So let me say this dot velocity dot x is plus equal to the constant force. Nope, nothing. Interesting. Don't know why that is. If constant force is true, which it currently is, right? Unless we changed it here. Why are you doing this to me? Yeah, no, it's on. If the constant force is true, then move it. Move the velocity. Alright, so maybe not the velocity. Let's say, oh, you know what? Maybe there's a variable for this rather than me defining a constant force. Maybe there is a variable already. Apply underscore force. Gravity force, constant force. Apply floor snap, apply scale. No, okay, all right, that's fine. Since the velocity, adjusting the velocity itself is not working, or maybe I have it wrong. Maybe the constant force is just not high enough. So it should be the velocity dot x is plus equal to the constant force, and then we just set the constant force. This does not need to be an export variable because we're not going to adjust it in the inspector. Is constant force should be on, and then the constant force we're going to set to, oh wait, save. And then we're going to set this to be, let's say, a super stupid number. That's how I like to do a lot of tests. So it's going to be over 9,000, so 9999. much love if you get the reference. All right. Mix tabs and spaces. Where? There we go. Oh, no? There we go. Interesting, interesting, interesting. If constant force is on, which it is, then apply the velocity.x, the rate of change should be this. And the velocity is how we're moving it in every other circumstance. So I don't know why it's different here. Maybe we change the position directly. I don't like doing that. This feels like error prone, but let's try it. Dot global position dot x is plus equal to the constant force. Okay. It being over 9,000 is probably the issue here, but we see a change, so that's good. So let's bring it way down to 200. There we go. Again, way too high. So let's bring it down to 5. There we go. And now we have a little bit more of what we see in Flappy Bird, which is also cool as a game developer to kind of like see something like that's another thing I love about doing game development is that when you start to see games and you're like, huh, I'm pretty sure I know how that works. And exactly the point, like if we pull up Flappy Bird as a comparison real quick. Yeah, it's a bit brutal, but it's meant to be. The gravity is so aggressive. But there's that constant force I was talking about. And I thought it was a parallax effect on the background, but it looks like it's just a static background, not even a parallax. So that's interesting. So it looks like it's not moving through space. Rather, all of the objects are coming through and spawning at different rates per the procedural generation. So that's cool. But what we have thus far... And I don't like that it kind of like you do collide with it, but then immediately when you collide with it, like you get stuck, which I don't like. It feels a little weird when it should like you should basically go right through it. So what I'll do in the code is turn off the collision. So once the sound plays, once you hear the sound, at that point we're gonna take the essentially the master collision shape. This is for A. Yeah, this should be for A. We're going to take the master collision shape and we're going to say dot disable. So let's try that just for A. Yeah, see you still, hold on. Yeah, you still get stuck. Maybe I have to disable both. No, I don't like it. I really don't like it. don't like you that you get stuck on it. But now I'm getting stuck on this and I'm cutting into my hacking time. So let's take out these 2 lines of code and then we'll go into hacking. I'll also write down what episode I'm on, episode 13 of making this game for my kiddo. Sorry, what am I thinking? Episode 13. Cool. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go into hacking. Let me pull up my notes. So we were on server scanning, and I believe we were using Nmap to do so, and I think we are currently on an activity to scan one of the ports. So let me also change the name of this. Episode 13 of, where are we? Oh, this is in Linux. We're not doing Linux right now. We are doing this one. Server scanning. Now, I think I didn't read through all of this, but I was like, I know Nmap. Not that not to be overly arrogant and be like, I know what this is, but I really do feel like I do. Ooh, I did not know FT. It is worth getting familiarity with FTP, which I do not know what that is. So I should probably read through this. penetration training with hack the box. As I say penetration training with hack the box, it feels very pervy. Like, I wouldn't be mad if Twitch like flagged me. Like, they shouldn't, because obviously I'm just hacking, but saying penetration testing or penetration training, and that's why I didn't even say testing, because it felt even dirtier. But I don't know. Okay. So I did go over that part of it. Common vulnerabilities. What is this? Yeah, God. Okay. So Nmap scripting specified SC will run many. Yes. For example, as an assessment scope, we may ask a audit of a large citrus. Citrus? No, that's not citrus. Installation. We can use this Nmap script. Okay. So we're locating. Okay. Okay. Locate script for citrus, and then it identifies a couple different ones. This isn't even using Nmap. This is like it's using. It says Nmap script though. That's interesting. Okay. The syntax for running the Nmap script is okay. There we go. Because I was like, how did you get this just based off of locate script? I'm wondering. I'm gonna spawn up a machine and test this out. I already answered some of the practice questions. Again, I had previously just skipped it. But let me spawn up a target machine and my own VM and go from there and see what we get. While that loads in, let me review over the material, because again, I honestly was like, I get this, but I that's maybe arrogant. Although the machine's already spawned up, so we'll skip right to it. I just want to get my hands dirty. All right. So let's open up Nmap. Yeah. Nmap. I could have sworn there was a Nmap. There's netcat. Oh, there it is. So list the SMB shares available on the target host. Connect to the available shares as the Bob user. Once connected, access a folder called flag and submit the contents of the flag. Okay. So first we need to list SMB shares available. Let's see. Oh, first we need to access the IP address, but specifically we're scanning for SMB. So let me check here. SMB. SMB in this case, or in the very first case of it mentioned in our training, is the result of us running a scan through all of the IP addresses. So the SV and C, I need to understand the meanings of those, which I think I can pull up actually here. So let me pull this up. SV is a probe of open ports to determine what services are being run, and then SC SC is what? There we go. Equivalent to script default. Script scan. Okay, gotcha. Script scan. Okay. So let's run that same or relatively same command. We're gonna do nmap. We're gonna do a script scan and a scan of the ports, which is SV, and then we're going to plug in the IP address. I believe is what is next. So let's just grab this. I think we have to enable it so that way we can copy over to this virtual machine. Nope, that's already set. I may have enabled that earlier in the stream. Let me make sure I'm writing this right. Nmap sv sc.p. What is p again? O is operating system, P is port. Only scan specific or specified port. Well, we don't know what port we're running, right? Yeah, we don't know what port we're running, so we can skip that part of it. But what we can do is let's make sure that these are called correctly. So I'm going to insert a dash here. Oh, let me delete. Space, insert a dash here, and then delete that space, and then same thing here, insert a space, and then not insert a dash, and then delete. Alright, so that should run. So what we're doing is running a scan on to check the scripts. We're running a script to check all of the ports, and then we're also well, this is a scan to run. This is the scanning script, and then this is to check the ports. One of these things is not like the other. This should be a lowercase s, not a uppercase s. There we go. And then let's run that command. take some time to run the command, but it shouldn't take too much longer. Okay. So what do we see? All right, we see a bunch of different ports open, but we only care about SMB, which I don't even know what that is. Is that mentioned in the training? Get rid of here. SMB. No. Remove. There we go. And this is probably why I should have read this section. Because I'm scanning for something, but I don't even know why. Like, why would I do this in real world? So, the SMB, the server message block, is a prevental protocol on Windows machines in particular. Interesting distinction. So, this is a prevental protocol on Windows machine that provides many vectors for vertical and lateral movement. That sounds bad. Why does Windows then have server messaging block if it allows for lateral movement? I mean, I guess nothing is built with lateral movement in mind. But anyway, sensitive data, or maybe it is because for the sake of data, going from server to server, machine to machine. Vertical and lateral movements. Sensitive data, including credentials, can be in network file shares. And some SMB versions may be vulnerable to RCE. That's root. Why am I blanking on RCE right now? Root code execution, which is no bueno. Let me make sure I got that right. I'm pretty sure it's root code execution. Remote code execution, sorry. Remote code execution. Meaning you don't have to be actually on the system to be able to run code on that system. Exploits such as Eternal Blue. Eternal Blue exploit. Known as the most enduring and damaging exploit of all time. Wow. Eternal Blue is a cybersecurity nightmare that won't go away. Learn what Eternal Blue is, how hacking tools got leaked, and why the U.S. National Security Agency developed it in the first place. Then find out how to protect yourself against exploits with this award-winning cybersecurity app, which is Eternal Blue. No, which is Avis 1, which I'm not going to trust it from an article. But what is Eternal Blue? Well, Eternal Blue is both the given name for the serial of Microsoft. So, is there a dark mode I can do for this? I might just adjust the code so that way I can see it in black, because I hate this. That's in the link. No. That's a bunch of CSS around the thing. Maybe it's in HTML. Oops. I know I'm getting slightly distracted here. I just hate this. I hate a white screen. I really do. No, it didn't run. what needs to be adjusted to insight to make it a black screen to make it easier on eyes. Then again, if I change it to black, I'm pretty sure I would then inversely have to change all of the letters so that way I could read it. Background color. Is that literally the name of the variable? Is background color? Okay, I got really distracted on this one problem. Let me switch back. Given by Microsoft vulnerabilities and the exploit created by the NSA as a cyber tool. Affecting only Windows operating system, yep. Anything that uses SMB server message block version. Okay. The origin of SMB vulnerabilities is what spy movies are made of. Dangerous NSA hacking tools leaked to a notorious group called shadow brokers on the hunt for common vulnerabilities and exposures, and the massively popular operating system used by individuals, governments, and corporations worldwide. According to the condemning statements by Microsoft, Eternal Blue was developed by the United States NSA as part of their controversial program of stockpiling and weaponizing cybersecurity vulnerability. Controversial? That is unethical. Controversial is underplaying it. Condemning is actually right, because to say it's controversial is crazy. Microsoft admitted that the NSA had them stockpiling and weaponizing cybersecurity vulnerability. So rather than solving essentially diseases of software, you were stockpiling diseases of software to use. That is incredibly unethical. Incredibly unethical. Rather than fixing the problem, let's just save all of these problems in case we ever need it against our enemies. Why not just solve the problem and then nobody can use that against you? Or against anybody else? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, that's crazy. According to the condemning statements made by Microsoft, Eternal Blue was developed by the NSA as part of their controversial program of stockpiling and weaponizing cybersecurity vulnerabilities rather than flagging them to the appropriate vendor. Exactly. Like, rather than solving the problem, you were like, well, we'll just keep the problem up, and then if they solve it, fine. But if they don't, we can use this against people. Like, that's That is fucked up. That's such a. I mean, I know it's the government, so what do you expect? But like, Jesus Christ. Before it was leaked, Eternal Blue was one of the most useful exploits in the NSA cyber arsenal, using countless intelligence gathering and counter-terrorist missions. Okay. I see the conflict here. I'm starting to see the conflict. I still don't think it's ethical, but I'm starting to see the conflict. NSA allegedly spent almost a year hunting for a bug in Microsoft software. Once they found it, the NSA developed Eternal Blue to exploit vulnerabilities. Oh, so that's why it's on Microsoft systems and allows for lateral movement, is because the NSA created it with that in mind. Wild. The NSA used Eternal Blue for 5 years, according to Microsoft, before alerting Microsoft to its existence. Microsoft has since called upon the NSA and other government bodies to support the Digital Geneva Convention. I did not know that even existed. That's so cool. Oh, the need for does that exist though? Is there a Digital Geneva Convention? It's a proposed. This is why I don't like learning about cybersecurity, is that it makes the world scarier. I don't know how Thor and Pirate Software is able to do it, but like the more I learn, I'm like, since 2017, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, a Geneva Convention for the digital world was proposed, but none has been created yet. Proposed international agreement aimed to establish norms, just as we do with any warfare. The concept was first introduced by the Microsoft president and legal officer, Brad Smith, in 2017, but there is no Digital Geneva Convention, is what I'm reading. The current status: while the Digital Geneva Convention is still proposed concept, it has gained significant attention and support with various stakeholders, including governments, international organizations, and private sector. The effort is underway in developing comprehensive framework for international cooperation on cybersecurity, and the Digital Geneva Convention remains a key component in these discussions. So it still doesn't exist. It was proposed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 years ago, and we still don't have a Geneva Convention for what is ethically right and wrong for governments and organizations to do. There is no, this is too fucked up, we cannot allow this for the digital area. You know how crazy that is? Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. I mean, really cool to learn about. Honestly, I'm not mad that I just learned this.
Ladies and gentlemen.
But this was years ago, and we still don't have a Geneva. Look how few views and comments on this. Jesus Christ. This is really important. Wow. That blew my mind, man. Anyway, SMB, server message block, is a preventative protocol on Windows machines that provided many vectors. Oh, I said provincial. That's my dyslexia acting up. Prevalent. A prevalent protocol. So it persists, right? That's what prevalent means? Like persistent?
Prevalent.
Prevalent. Existing very commonly or happening often. Protocol on Windows machines that allows them many attack vectors, blah, blah, blah. SMB may be vulnerable to, oh my god, to remote code execution such as Eternal Blue. It is critical to enumerate this sizable potential attack surface carefully. Nmap has many scripts that for enumerating SMB, such as SMB blah 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 blah, which is what? So this is just another script to be run, and this is a resume, or not a resume, but a breakdown, a documentation of the script. Wow, that blew my mind. Okay, so there it is. So then you're just running that script for SMB. Oh, okay. So I can run the script for SMB rather than looking at ports, because I don't. This doesn't even. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is running on port 445. Okay. Wow. I almost want to stop the stream there, because that's such a mic drop moment to be like, hey, did you know that there is no digital Geneva Convention? So governments and institutions are basically able to do whatever they want in the landscape that we are spending most of our time on. Like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like what? And it's like, yeah, it was proposed a while ago by one of the head honchos of a major organization, when the NSA told them, yeah, we've known this has existed for a while and we have been using it against people. And then the CEO was like, huh, thanks for telling us, I guess. Hey guys, we should not allow this. This is not cool. This is what the NSA admitted that they were doing. And as always, the government admits to some serious wrongdoing. And is there any true consequence for it? Fuck no. Wow. Wow, guys. Wow. That blew my mind, honestly. That blew my mind. Wow. In this case, it's running on a Windows 7 operating system. We can conduct further enumeration to confirm if confirm it is vulnerable to Eternal Blue, which is like that huge exploit. The Metasploit framework has several modules for. Wow, that's how much of an attack vector this is. Is that it's still being used as an attack vector? Wow. 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 Dude. Oh my god. It's really hard for me to focus on anything else other than we don't have a Geneva Convention for the digital world, which again is where we spend most of our time. So to say that there is no guidelines to say this is unacceptable, I don't give a fuck. Like, we have a Geneva Convention for war, but when it comes to the digital realm, where our children spend time, people spend time, there's governments involved, there's banks involved, there's all these other things involved, there is no set convention for you cannot do this as a government. Because I imagine Geneva is to say, because Geneva doesn't apply to citizens, Geneva applies to governments. That's why, because people don't go to war, countries go to war, and the leadership and government of that country goes to war, which established a Geneva Convention. Wow. Oh my god, dude. Nmap A, I don't know what A means in this, but then port 445, which we talked about for this IP address. SMB allows for users, administrators to share files and make them accessible remotely by others. Oh my god, the fact that this is such a huge vulnerability though for Windows, I just don't even, did the NSA tell you that you have to keep it up? Like, what is this SMB, which is server messaging blocks, still used? Especially if it's only used for, like, it would be one thing if it's like, well, that's how it has to work, like Ethernet or something like that, where it's like a basic fundamental computing component, but it's not. It's an operation system thing. So Windows has it, but Mac doesn't. It's SMB doesn't exist for Mac. SMB doesn't exist for Linux. My brain hurts. Not from the content itself, but the fact that we are so... Wow. A tool that can enumerate and interact with SMB. Why? I have to know. Why does Windows use SMB? Legacy compatibility. Okay. File and printers. So this ultimately boils down to legacy. It was built on something that... Yeah, this is all legacy. In summary, SMB is used because legacy, that's the main thing. Yeah, that's what I'm reading. Wow. Wow, dude. Wow. Now I just want to talk to a hacker like that's more experienced about this, because this is so unbelievably interesting and sad and crazy and chaotic. Wow. Okay, I have 2 more minutes in the stream, but it's just like so hard for me to focus on anything else. Let's see if we can finish that exercise, since we now know a little bit more about SMB. So list the SMB shares. So rather than scanning the port, I mean, I guess we already scanned the port, so we might as well see if we're able to see SMB in that. So let's see. There it is, SMB. Let's say a port. Doesn't look like it says a port. Host script, blah, 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 SMB. Port 22 is secure shell, obviously. FTP. So host script results were clock, but I can't see what port it's running on. Host script results, yeah, but nothing regarding port. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm very much fixed on that. But luckily, we are at the end of our stream. Noodles, thank you so much for lurking as I do with your stream. Much love to you. It was so nice to see you today. You are a tremendous, amazing, beautiful, funny person. And I'm so grateful to have known you. And to the lurker who is there, you know, I probably would say equally sweet things about you if you were participating, but I do not blame you for not participating. I'm just grateful that you're here. So thank you for being here. Know that you are loved, you are valued, and you can be so much more than you think you can be. Have a great night.